Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Today we've got a 30-minute live, all based around getting fit for summer. So if you guys are interested in getting fit, then stay with me over the next 30 minutes where we're going to be talking about some tips and tricks to get fit for summer. If this is the first time that you guys have seen me, my name is Ross. I'm based in the UK. I've been training for over 10 years in the gym, in health and fitness, and I've been posting up these lives since the start of January on the most popular fitness topics. And today we've got the agenda all based around summer 2026. So if you guys want to get fit this year or get fit for summer, especially as the evenings are starting to draw in and get a lot lighter, then the most important thing that I want you guys to take away from this session over the next 30 minutes is you're going to have a clear path in terms of how to get into shape for summer. And just as a bit of a hint, you guys don't need to be doing anything extreme. You guys don't need to be going into a massive calorie deficit. You don't need to be in a huge detox. All what I want you to do is more focus on having good behaviors, setting up good habits. Small habits lead to bigger results. So guys, if you've got any questions as we're running through the live, please put them in the comments. Please like the live if you guys are finding it useful. It's really helpful for me to know that you guys are getting value from these types of sessions. But the first topic that I wanted to talk about is mindset and motivation. So if you've already made the decision that you want to get into shape for 2026, maybe you had a bit of motivation in January, you've fallen off. Now, as the evenings are getting a little bit lighter, you want to get into shape, you want to get fit, then what I want to talk about now is most people fail because they rely on motivation to get fit. And when it comes to getting fit, motivation is fantastic to start and to get us going, but it's discipline, habits, and routines that are going to keep us going. So, again, many people fail because they rely on motivation. This fluctuates. I've said many a time that in terms of getting fit, if I completely relied on motivation, I would not be in shape. I am rarely motivated to go to the gym and exercise. However, the most important thing that I've got is habits, and I've got good processes in place that set me up for success. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need perfect habits. You just need daily habits that you can maintain. When it comes to getting in shape, not just for summer, but in general, it all comes down to have you got processes in place that you're able to stay consistent with, not for a week, not for a month, but for many months, because getting into shape takes time. So guys, if you're just joining, what we're talking about at the moment is getting into shape for 2026. So if you guys want to get into shape for 2026, stay with me over the next 20 minutes or so. If you guys have got any fitness related questions, please put them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer these questions. At the moment, the topic is how to get into shape for summer. I'm just talking about mindset and motivation in terms of getting into shape, but feel free to like the live. Please feel free to put your questions in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So Theo has just asked, I go to the gym every day except Wednesday and Saturday. That's very good. So consistency is good, Theo. How long have you been going to the gym for? Good that you're going to the gym good few times a week. Most important thing is making sure that you are working hard enough during your sessions. It's great that you're turning up, but you need to be making sure that you're working hard enough, because in order for our bodies to grow, we need to make sure that we're challenging our bodies during each of the sessions for about 4 or 5 months. Yeah, so that's really good. So great with the consistency. You've stuck with it. Any questions that I can help with, it's good that you're staying consistent with it. To be honest with you, you're going to the gym more than me. I'm only able to get into the gym 3 days a week at the moment. So remember, consistency beats intensity. So guys, any questions, any fitness related questions, please put them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. We're talking about getting into shape for summer. First topic is around mindset and motivation. The reason why most people fail in terms of getting into shape is because they rely on motivation. This fluctuates. So like Theo, he's been going to the gym 4 to 5 months. He's been going consistently pretty much 4 or 5 days a week. He is going to see results because he is in this for the long term. He's not just getting determined on his motivation. And it's the same as me. Consistency beats intensity. Iman's asked, my main meal is 2 wraps, around 300 grams to 250 grams chicken breast. Is this good? So what I would say, Iman, is you need to work out how many calories that you're having each day, depending on your goal. Is it fat loss? Is it to build muscle? Is it to maintain? You need to work out how many calories that you're having each day. And then you need to determine what your different macros are in terms of your protein goal, in terms of, what you should be hitting every day in order to grow, in order to either put on muscle, lean up, or weight loss. So just taking it as a general 1 meal. It's good that you're hitting a good source of protein, so that is good, but you need to have a look at the overarching goal in terms of what you're having each day. So Theo has asked, should my muscles ache after sessions, especially my back? So Theo, it completely comes down to what you're training. So you should generally feel, especially if you're a beginner, you should generally feel like your muscles have been worked during a session. Mainly reasons for that is it's called DOMS, so delayed onset muscle soreness. Generally, you don't need to feel sore all of the time in order to see results, but especially in those early stages, you really do need to shock your body, and your body should feel somewhat worked, so that next day you can't go back. And let's say, for example, I train in chest today. I can't go to the gym tomorrow and train chest again because my chest, my tries are going to start to feel wet. So you need to make sure that you're feeling that you're pushing your body hard enough and that you are getting some sort of workouts in and that your body's getting worked out. So, and when you're talking about your back feeling sore, it completely depends on if you're training your back. Then if you've got a bit of, soreness, not in terms of like a sharp pain, but in terms of a working pain, that is a good pain. But if you've got back soreness, like you've got a sharp pain in your back, or your back is achy in general, then potentially some of those exercises you might not be doing with the right technique. So, Fanjaro, advice for someone who has no gym membership and works in an office. So what you can do is you can, in terms of your, I've just lost your question. Okay, there it is. Right, so advice for someone who has no gym membership and works in an office. So in terms of your question, Fanjaro, the best advice I can give you is make sure that you're doing your 10,000 steps a day. So you can break this up into 3 different segments: a morning, afternoon, and an evening slot. So a 10 to 20 minute walk in the mornings, let's say a 40 to 45 minute walk at lunch, and then another 20 to 25 minute walk in the evenings. I would recommend, if you haven't got a gym membership, you can do an effective bodyweight routine at home with no equipment, even 15 to 20 minutes a day. You can even do things like bodyweight squats, press ups, plank, lunges. There are so many different exercises that you can do at home just based around your 10,000 steps and an effective 15 to 20 minute bodyweight routine. The most important thing when it comes to a bodyweight routine is you need to be doing it, I would say, a little bit more frequently than a gym workout. Just because with the gym, you've got weights, you can really stack on that weight to really challenge your body. Generally with bodyweight workouts, in terms of progressively overloading, it can be quite difficult. That's why I'd recommend to up the volume, that frequency a little bit more, an effective 10 to 15 minute bodyweight routine, and then doing it maybe 3 to 4 times per week. Ian has said, I'm fasting for 12 hours and that's my main meal. And then another small meal. Okay, that's fine. All right, so that's good. Obviously, that you're fasting, that's all good. Just making sure that you're hitting your macros every day. That is the most important thing. So obviously there's plenty of different ways that you can get into shape, but when it comes to making sure that you're hitting your macros every day, and that's all good. So yeah, Lily, you can ask your questions. That's all good. Please, let me know any questions you've got so I can help. Guys, any other questions, please let me know. What we're talking about now is just mindset and motivation. Please put your questions in the comments. But again, you don't need perfect habits. You just need daily habits in order to get in shape for summer. So small wins really help. Things like if you're working in an office, instead of taking the lift, you can take the stairs, making sure that you're drinking your water every day, 2 to 3 litres. Doing your walks, again, I covered it. Breaking it up into 3 mini sessions throughout the day. So Armour said, if I'm in season and want to do a mini cut from 80 kg to 70 kg, how much should I lose weekly? So that generally it depends, Armour, on the time frame that you want to lose the weight in. Ideally, you would want to lose weight, I would say anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds a week is good. I always, especially if I'm going on a cut, I like to extend it out 12 to 15 weeks because it just takes a lot of time in terms of cutting weight effectively. You don't want to go into too much of an aggressive cut. Best to space it out and lower those calories very, very slowly. So you're only losing 1 to 2 pounds per week. And if you are, and that will ensure that you don't ruin performance, because I know you said you didn't want to make sure that there. So again, it's all about a gradual calorie deficit, making sure that you're keeping your protein intake high, along with playing around with your carbs. Vanjaris said, thank you, I'm surprised about the 10 to 15 minute only for the bodyweight workout. Yeah, so a lot of people, when it comes to getting into shape, they think that they need to kill themselves and do 45 minutes to an hour, but an effective 10 to 15 minute bodyweight routine done frequently, at least 4 times a week, 4 to 5 times a week, is going to be really, really effective. Little and often is super, super important. It's better than trying to do, let's say, a 2-hour bodyweight workout, and then you're trying to either do that every day, and then you end up burning out by the end of the first week, and then you don't do any exercise. So super, super important. Remember, little and often is the most important thing to remember. And my main excuse was I have no time. Look, at the end of the day, Fanjari, the most important thing is everyone has time. You don't need a gym membership to get into shape. You can do a bodyweight routine at home. I still do a bodyweight routine even now, and it only takes me 15 to 20 minutes max. if I can't get to the gym. And for me, again, little and often, I go to the gym 3 days a week. But if there is a week when I can't go to the gym, I make sure I do that body weight routine 10 to 15 minutes around 5 days throughout the week. So everyone has time. It's just dependent on how bad that you want it. So guys, any other questions, please let me know. Put them in the comments, any fitness related questions. If you guys are just joining, we're talking about how to get into shape for summer. We're just highlighting mindset and motivation. We've spoken about setting up good habits in order to get fit. So small wins matter, choosing the stairs instead of taking the lift, drinking your water, doing your steps. Next, we're going to be moving into nutrition and lifestyle. So this is a really, really key topic if you guys want to get into shape for summer. Fitness is 70 to 80% of nutrition. That means it doesn't matter how many workouts that you're doing throughout the week. If you haven't got your nutrition dialed in, then you are pretty much not going to see the results that you want. I know I'm not meant to say this, but you can pretty much maintain a very good physique if you pretty much just ate really well in terms of your calories, and you pretty much just done some element of exercise like walking, and you just done a small body weight routine at home. You don't need these heavy weights. You don't need these crazy workouts in order to maintain a good physique. It is all tied to your nutrition. You probably know a lot of people who are going to the gym a good few days a week, and then what they're doing is they're eating like rubbish and they still look terrible. So super, super important that getting in shape is 70 to 80% of the pie. And you can't out-train bad eating habits. That's the most important thing to remember. So, and then Theo said, I eat chicken, shredded tuna and pasta quite often. I would recommend. Yeah, some good advice there, some good sources of protein. And again, when it comes to nutrition, find something that you like. Think about your favorite foods. Make healthier choices of your favorite foods. So Brennan said, I do 7k walks with a 10 kg weighted vest. Weight's falling off right now. To be fair, I wouldn't be walking around with a 10 kilo weighted vest, but good on you, Brennan. Fantastic. Hard work is paying off. That's what you need to do, is just be consistent. 10 kg weighted vest. I've got one at home. I try and avoid it as much as possible unless I'm doing my weighted pull-ups, or I'm doing my dips, or I'm doing my press-ups. So really good though. It's good that you're combining the weighted vest with walking. So well done on the hard work, and good to see that you are seeing the weight fall off. So do you feel though as it damages the body shoulder-wise? Realistically, I would, Brennan, in terms of, do you feel that? I think it ultimately comes down to, just because walking 7k steps is you're probably talking about an hour of walking. So depending on how that vest is fitting, it potentially might rub on your shoulders and it can be probably quite uncomfortable. Probably you got slightly lower back pain as well, depending on your posture when you're walking. So look, I think obviously for short term it's quite good, but I probably wouldn't try and do it massively long term. Just try and focus more on being in a calorie deficit and potentially walking longer distances just with your body weight, because you really want to protect your body. You want to make sure that if you are getting soreness in your shoulders or in your lower back, you want to try and limit that as much as possible, because then that will then put you out of the game when it comes to exercising. Arma said, also, I have around 6 practices and 3 lifts. Is 6k steps a day enough? I mean, look, you're doing a lot of exercise already, Arma, which is great. 6k steps is obviously enough. 6k steps is still good. I would always aim for a minimum of 10k steps. Just good in terms of cardio and in terms of fat loss, and even just generally for your own mental health. I think walking is so underrated. Cherry apricot Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining. I'm all good. Thank you very much. If you've got any fitness related questions, please put them in the comments. I'm just helping people answer some questions. Thank you guys very much for liking the live. We're talking, if you guys are just joining a little bit later, we're talking about how to get fit for summer. We're talking about nutrition and lifestyle. 70 to 80% of getting in shape is all around nutrition. So when it comes to getting fit for summer, I want you guys to focus on building habits, not restrictions. So start simple. Track your meals 1 to 2 days a week to see patterns. Protein helps with sanity and muscle, so always make sure that you're keeping your protein intake super high. And in terms of your hydration and your sleep, this is massively often overlooked, but it impacts the end result massively. So make sure that you're drinking 2 to 3 liters of water each day. You're spacing it out throughout the day, and you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. So just as an example, if you're looking to get fit for summer, if you're drinking a few cans of maybe Diet Coke or Coca-Cola, you can swap one of those cans for water, and you'll then see a huge result. Again, it's small changes that will lead to bigger results. So what we're going to be talking about next is training strategies without gimmicks. So guys, before I move into this, please let me know if you guys have got any questions. Happy to answer them as we're running through. Again, if you guys are just jumping in, we're talking about how to get fit for summer 2026. So training strategies without the gimmicks. You don't need no crazy workouts. Frequency is what matters most. Building good habits. It's not all about the intensity. Like I was mentioning earlier on, you can do an effective bodyweight routine, 10 to 15 minutes, every 4 to 5 times a week, and you're going to see great results. Yeah, Fanjaro, thank you very much for joining. Have a lovely evening and hope to see you again soon. Guys, any other fitness related questions, please put them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them. When it comes to getting fit, it is all about you don't need to do any crazy workouts. Frequency is the best thing. Pick something that you enjoy. It could be walking, cycling, yoga, gym. It doesn't matter. There are so many ways to get fit. All you need to do is stick to it. Treat your workouts like appointments. Small amounts. So you need to make sure that you are progressive with your efforts. So small increases over time matter more than extreme workouts. And the most important thing is to be patient. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself some time. And again, remember to enjoy the process. So before I wrap up, I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's live, answering some fitness related questions. We've been talking about summer 2026, how to get fit. Just some frequently asked questions. How do I start if I'm a beginner? So I've got a free 3-day full body split that you can download on my main page. That is completely beginner friendly. What if I fail? There is no such thing as failing when it comes to getting into shape. All you need to make sure that you're doing is you are trying. If you are trying, that is the most important thing. You only fail if you stop trying. I want to recap the main points. Mindset, remember, being disciplined, building good habits. Nutrition, 70 to 80% of getting into shape is all based around your nutrition. Movement, 10,000 steps a day. If you don't like going to the gym, 10 to 15 minute workouts, bodyweight workouts at home. If you're going to the gym, 3 gym sessions each week. Consistency is the most important thing. So guys, thank you very much for joining me for today's live. I have got my next live on Thursday. So I shall see you guys then. I want to thank you guys again for joining. Have a good, lovely evening. Thank you again, and I shall see you guys in the next one.